Hi guys, welcome to my channel Vivek Navi. So today going to create another video. So it's again on Power Automate. So basically, let me tell the context about today's video. So if you see on my screen, I have a list called users, where you see I have the name, I have the mobile number, I have the location, I have the employee ID, and I have company name. And if you see the company name is blank, and I have another list called user company. So if you see here, like I have employee ID and the company name. So basically, in this list, if you see each employee ID is tagged with a company. And if I come back to my original list, that is users, so here as well I have something called employee ID. So this employee ID would be acting as a key for both the tables, which are unique. So today's agenda would be like using a flow. We will, you know, query each and every item from this and check for which particular employee ID, what is the company name, and we will update this field. And we will achieve it today via MS Flow by using REST calls. So here I'll show you like how we can do a REST call. We can get the items, we can query the items, and using the REST call, how we can update the item. So without wasting much time, let me quickly open the Power Apps portal, and here it goes. So let me quickly create a new flow, and it would be instant cloud flow, which I will trigger it manually. So update list using list. So video could be quite complex for the beginners. So probably concentrate more, and hopefully I will be able to explain in a proper way. And at the end of the video, hopefully you will be able to learn those technical things, how really it is happening at the back end. So fine. So now thinking about the initial approach. So what I will do is, first thing, I will query all the items in this list. Then I will iterate through each and every item. So let's say if I iterate through the first item, I will get the employee ID, and employee ID. Once I have the employee ID, I'll do another REST call and search for that specific employee ID in user company. So let's say I have employee ID 21345, and I do a query and I get this item. So once I have this item, I will store the company name in a variable. And once I have the company name of the variable, while I'm iterating through this item, I will do another call and I will update this item with that company name. And that is the cycle which should happen for each and everything. And at final stage, we should be able to update each and every item with the company name for that specific employee ID. Fine. So to query all the items for this users list, so basically, since we are going to do this via REST call approach, so we have to use the block called send HTTP. Once you search for this, so we have something called send an HTTP request to SharePoint. So I selected this. So it's quite simple. Concentrate on the video. So if I click on drop down, if you see all the sites will appear for what and all you have access for the tenant. So this is my site, and we are going to do a get operation. So let it be to the get. Now, what is URI? So basically, it is the same REST call API what we generally do in our client side coding. So for this, basically I'll show you the very first query, which it should be like underscore API web lists get by title. So our list name is user, so I'm passing it user over here, and items, and question mark dollar top 4999. So basically why I'm doing this is like whenever you do such operations where you want to query all the items, do include top this, because by default we only query 100 items at a time. So if I give top is equal to 499, it will cover all the items whatever you have in the list. Now let me copy this and quickly paste it over here. So you need not provide any header. Now once you do the call, once the HTTP goes and hits, so it will get back you the results in JSON format. So once you have JSON format, we have to parse that JSON. Then only we will be able to get those metadata or parameters. So before I use the next new step or something called parse JSON, I will run this and check like if I'm getting an output out of this. So I'll save this and manually test it, continue, run the flow. Okay, the flow has ran successfully. So if I click on this, if you see this is the API which is hit, this one. So these were five. So if you see at the, if you scroll down in the body, you can see all the results coming out. So this is for ID1, title, then employee ID, company name. Similar way we have other items as well here. This is for ID2. So before we use, I mean, the JSON result what we have got, since we need to parse it. So what you need to do is just click on this body and give Control A and Control C. So just copy the whole thing. Now go and click on edit, click on new step and give parse. So here is the parse JSON. So if you click on the content, we need the body of send an HTTP request to SharePoint. So you see this one, right? So whatever block you have used with whatever naming convention, that appears over here. So we want to parse the body result of this. And what is the schema, guys? So schema is nothing but the output which we just now copied, whatever we got. So you need to click on generate from sample, and the one whatever we copied is here. This is the output of that uh, API request whatever we have sent using send HTTP. So just click on done. Automatically it will generate the schema. Now the schema is ready. We have passed it. Now, so since we have got the collection of records from this, now we need to iterate through each and every item. So we have the collection of records, all this collection of records. Now we need to iterate. So to iterate the collection of records, we need to use apply to each block. And in this, remember to use the result parameter, whatever we are getting from parse JSON. So this is your action block, and if you click here, you can check where is your parse JSON, the very top, which comes as parse JSON. And if you slowly scroll down, you can see somewhere the results coming up from this parse JSON. So just scroll, scroll, and scroll. There it goes, the very last one. So we need to select this. Now if you hover over this, you can see body parse JSON d dot results. So it is nothing but data dot d dot results what you get in your REST API. Now, so I am iterating. So let's say once I iterate in apply to each, if I get the very first result, now from this first result I have employee ID. Now since I have employee ID, let me do another call to user company by giving a filter called employee ID 21345 such that I can get this specific item, and I can get the company name out of it. Now I'll click on add a block, HTTP, send an HTTP request. This would be again get. This is my site, and what would be the URI, guys? So URI would be this one: API web lists get by title user company items filter is equal to title equals to that specific ID. So why it's title? Title because if I see the internal name of employee ID, so this is nothing but by default column what we get while creating a list title. So I just renamed it employee ID. So always we have to use the internal name in our REST calls. Now going back to my flow. So the title equals to employee ID of this specific users list item. So when I click here, so here if you see this is the specific item what we are getting from Parse Json. Inside Parse Json we want the employee ID. So if you go in Parse Json block, if you check, if you scroll down, you will see somewhere called employee ID. Here it is. That's all, guys. So filter is equal to title equals to employee ID. So employee ID is nothing but the first item of this list where you are giving a call for user company for this employee ID, which is nothing but title. Now, so since again we are giving a REST call here, we will get, we are going to get the output in JSON. So since we get in our output in JSON, we need to parse the JSON. So to parse that, we need to have the schema. So for that, let me run this quickly and get the output from this call. So let me save this and click on test. Yeah, so it says the flow ran successfully. So let me show you block by block. So this is my first call and it has parsed, and after parsing, if you see apply to each, I am getting total 1 of 4. So that means I am getting totally 4 items, which I have 4 items in the users list. Now I'm iterating one by one the very first item. So it says like user company filter title equals to 21345. So basically it is going and filtering the other list user company by this ID, and I am getting a result out of it, that is this. Let me copy this quickly, edit. I will click edit. I will click on Parse JSON. So the content I want is the output of send HTTP request to SharePoint 2, which is here. I want the body of it, and schema would be nothing but the one we copied. Now, guys, okay. So now, guys, so if you see, like I have used the Parse JSON for my second HTTP. So as we know from this call, we are going to get only a single item, but still, once we parse it, our results will be stored in an array, you know, even though it's a single item, but it will be stored in an array. So in order to get the first element of the array from this parse json 2, which is company id. So before that, let me declare a variable called company id to store the value of company id of that specific item. So we cannot declare or initialize variable in between of a loop. So we need to do it right starting. Initialize a variable, and here I keep company name, a string. I saved it. Now, so once I set the company name, whatever I'm getting from this call, so once I try to insert the JSON element to that company name, automatically it will insert it in for each, since that is an array. Let me show you. So set variable, select the name as company name, and here I want to store company name, whatever I'm getting from Parse Json 2. So just uh, concentrate on the video and see, like, this is a standalone block, but once I select the company name from Parse Json 2, automatically it will go in for each. So I want the output from Parse Json 2, and that is nothing but company name. So Parse Json 2 is here, and let me scroll down slowly and check where is company name. Here it is, company name. So once I select this, you see there is an apply to each block automatically coming up. Now it will have a single item but in an array. So we will do apply to each for that array, and we will get that very first item stored in our company name variable. Now I have the company name for that specific item, whatever I have filtered. I have the ID as well because this is the first item we are iterating through. Now I need to do HTTP call to update this specific item with the company name what we have got. So watch it very carefully. Now I will do another HTTP call, an HTTP request. This is my site, and we are going to update. So this time it would be post. Now what would be the URI API? So API would be this time, so this time the API would be lists get by title users, since this is the list what we are updating. So it will be users items, and we want the ID of that specific item. So where is that ID? Since this is the first item of this parse JSON, so send HTTP request to SharePoint is the first list what we are querying. We are parsing it, and we are doing an apply to each for this parse JSON. So in the parse JSON, we want the ID of that specific item. So check where is our parse JSON. Here is our parse JSON. Now check where is the ID attribute. So this is not the one. Remember, it should be I capitals. Here it is. Now since we are posting it, we need some of the headers to be implemented here. So I have those headers. I will simply paste from here. So you can find this in Microsoft document as well. Headers what really needs to be passed. So yeah, these are the headers, which is more than enough. Now guys, so now in the body, Now in the body, so basically we want to update the company name column. So let me check, what is the internal name for this company name. So if I click on company name and go at the last in the URL, so the here is the internal name list. Now I'll place the company name, and I want to update that company name with the variable what we have stored in the company name. Now this is a single column, so that is all in the body. But let's say if you have multiple columns you want to update, just give comma, then the internal name, then similar way, whatever you want to update with that parameter. But since it's a single column, I will remove that column. I mean, and the comma. Now I'll save this. So basically, uh, this whole process I have explained with terms to the single item, but the same thing will occur across each and every item by iterating. So with that, we assume that once I run the flow, if everything is in place, it will iterate through each and every item, do a match, get that respective company name from that employee ID, and update the specific column. So if I refresh, if you see the company name is blank. Now quickly let me, I think so our flow is saved. Now let me test this and let's check what happens. Manually test, run the flow. So my flow is running. It says your flow ran successfully. Let me go to users table, and if let me refresh and check what has happened to the company name. There it goes, guys. So if you see, the company name has been filled. Now let me quickly do a random check if the things are correct. So very first item, that is 21345. So 21345 with CTS, and it has updated with CTS, that is cognizant. Then let me just check very last item. So here the employee ID is 21348. So 21348 is here, and its value is HCL. It has updated with HCL. So yeah, guys. So you have seen like how using Parse Json and doing a REST call via MS Flow, how we have got the values of a list, and we have updated the values of list. So I have tried my best, to explain in a manner like it's really reachable to you. So if you have any queries or doubts in this, please do put in the comment section such that I can reply back or give you clarity on my explanation. So that's all for today. A very humble request: please do subscribe my channel and like the video. That's all for today. Take care, guys. Bye bye.